Hello and welcome everybody, this is Gogs Gaming, and we wanted to do a quick video on Twilight Princess HD. As you guys can see from the pictures, Nintendo of Japan's Twitter account released a couple of new pictures of, one of Mallow and another of what appears to be a selfie that Link is taking with Mallow on his right shoulder and Midna kind of creeping behind his left shoulder. And as you guys can see, Midna seems terrified of that little child Mallow from Mallomart. Now, Eiji Aonuma went on to say on the Japanese Twitter account that that new information would be shared, and the messenger would be Mallow. So that's kind of one bit of information that came out very recently. And then the other tidbit of information is from Famitsu magazine again, and it appears that Famitsu magazine is more or less confirming the leaks that occurred through Amazon France. Now, Famitsu magazine has some information on the amiibos and their functionality. Probably the biggest tidbit of information is that there will be a Trial of the Beast arena, I guess, or a dungeon. Now, while it's not specified, it's most likely this Trial of the Beast is the Cave of Twilight that was mentioned in the Amazon France video. Now, one of the things that Famitsu says you can get is by beating the Trial of the Beast while owning the Giant's Wallet, which of course holds 1,000 rupees. So if you beat the Trial of the Beast while holding the Giant's Wallet, the player will be granted with what is called the Bottomless Wallet, which has 9,999 rupee limit. Now, of course, this will be tremendously helpful when using the magic armor that Link obtains in the game. Of course, the magic armor is the armor where by wearing it you are depleting rupees. Now, by having, let's say if you had 10,000 or close to 10,000 rupees, that means you could go on for a pretty extended period of time without getting any damage. I wouldn't say that's that big of a deal, only because Twilight Princess HD wasn't the most difficult game to begin with, so it's not as if we needed something to make it any less difficult. But nevertheless, it's still nice in that there will be this new Trial of the Beast, I guess arena or dungeon, and by beating that Trial of the Beast, you will be granted a much bigger wallet. Now, Famitsu also mentioned that Link's health inside of normal dungeons can be recovered by the amount of hearts that he preserved in the exclusive dungeon. Now, it's hard to know what the exclusive dungeon is, but the guess is that the exclusive dungeon refers to this new Trial of the Beast dungeon. So presumably, if there are hearts preserved in the exclusive dungeon in the Trial of the Beast, then in your ordinary dungeons you can use those hearts, you can transfer those hearts. Now, Famitsu also had some additional information as to other amiibos, namely with Link and Toon Link. If you use those amiibos, you can fully replenish your arrows, and then with Princess Zelda and Sheik, you can fully restore all hearts. And finally, with the Ganondorf amiibo, you will receive twice as much damage from enemies. Now, that's kind of interesting in that it's almost like kind of like a hero mode, just by the fact that you're gonna get twice as much damage. But it is nicer in that if to the extent someone wants a bit more of a challenge, they can use the Ganondorf amiibo and get that, because the damage will be twice as much. Now, the amiibos can only be scanned once every 24 hours, kind of like they were in Hyrule Warriors. And then the final bit of information is that the import data from Twilight Princess HD can be transferred to the new Zelda game, presumably the Zelda Wii U game, with the Wolf Link amiibo. So that, again, we've known that, but again, that's more confirmation about that, so that's good to know. Now, going back to this unlocking of the Trial of the Beast, or I think it's called a Thorough Battle Trial of the Beast. in my last Twilight Princess HD video, you know, I analyzed that, you know, when we found out that there would be a new dungeon, and it would be called the Cave of Twilight, I stated that, you know, it was, I just didn't see Nintendo going with a full-on dungeon. Now, the reasons were that, one, Twilight Princess already had a dungeon about the Twilight Realm. It was called the Palace of Twilight. And then, second, because this new dungeon was at least initially by Amazon France called Cave of Twilight, I thought, hey, you know, there's the Cave of Ordeals where you go and you fight a lot of enemies, so this new Cave of Twilight would be kind of like the equivalent of the Cave of Ordeals, but it would be in more of a Twilight setting with, you know, Twilight enemies. And you know, it's unclear, but the Trial of the Beast dungeon that Famitsu refers to, it's possible that is exactly what it is. It's basically kind of like the Cave of Ordeals, so, you know, the trial, and you're gonna go through, whether it's floors or other or by through other mechanism where you're fighting a lot of Twilight enemies, and you know, if you're victorious at the end, then you get that Bottomless Wallet if you had the Giant's Wallet to begin with. So that was kind of interesting. You know, we still don't have 100% confirmation that this new Trial of the Beast will in fact be a Cave of Ordeals type dungeon or place, but if the information from Famitsu is any indication, it looks like it might. Anyways, guys, stay tuned for more as always. You know, I'm always looking out for all the new Twilight Princess HD information that comes out, and as soon as we hear more, I will, you know, try to give you guys the a glimpse into that new information. As always, you know, I thank you guys in advance. Please, you know,